our trip that we have planned for next November. As we get going here, we just have a 3-slide little show going here with the dates of the trip on it. Now we are going to go through our proposed itinerary, but the dates I think are obviously the most important thing, at least to get started. And we're going to go through our proposed itinerary here in a minute. I'd really like to welcome you all. Since this is a combined choir/orchestra trip, you get both bridges for this. So, a much better half and me. Did I say it right? Garrett, say it again.
You can always take this chair. Okay.
So,
Here, there's the chair.
I think there's a few more up there. Parents, feel free to kick students out of the chairs and they can sit on the floor. Okay. So, I know you all have many questions, so let's go ahead and get started. One of the downsides of this is that when Mrs. Bridges and I both here, Matthew is home alone with 2 dogs and a cat. So we want to be done by 8 tonight. So we're going to try to get this done in 1 hour, including questions and that sort of thing. First thing tonight is I'll be heading up the orchestra side of this. Mrs. Bridges is going to head up the choir side of it. We are obviously going to work together. We're married and all, so we're going to work together. But we have hired Educational Tours company. They have handled tours for us in the past, and our good friend, Mrs. Oxender, Sherry, is here, and she is going to talk to you briefly about the itinerary, and then also some of the other business side of things, kind of some insurance questions, things like that. As she talks, I'm going to go through I'm going to have the itinerary up on the board there. You are not going to get a copy of the itinerary tonight. Instead, we are going to email that home to you tomorrow. Okay? And again, it's a proposed itinerary, so things still possibly can change. So, Sherry, if you want to get started, I will get this up and running.
Are you my Vanna?
I'm not wearing the dress.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for coming out. Great turnout, and it's a cold night, so appreciate you being here. For those of you who have not traveled with us before, Educational Tours is located in Holt, Michigan. So we are a local company. We're a Michigan-owned company. Our owners are still very involved with running the business. And we work with hotels that are student-friendly hotels that treat your students with respect. Okay? They also understand, very importantly, they understand our need for a tight rooming block. Boys on one side, girls on the other, or boys on one floor, girls on the other. So other guests aren't mixed in between, okay, and the chaperones are either on the ends or interspersed in between. It makes security a lot easier. And with all of our trips, we have private nighttime security that's assigned to your group and your group only. So even though the hotel has security, you know, as staying in a hotel that security sometimes gets called to the parking lot for problems and things like this. We have a guard that is assigned, in our property you'll have 2 guards, assigned to your group to be in the hallway all night long. They have an hourly report to fill out. The directors get a copy of that in the morning, okay? We're not concerned about the Granville students getting out because we know that you follow the rules, and when they say lights out, you're going to stay in your rooms. But understand you're going to be in there with other guests in the hotel, and we want to make sure that no one gets in those rooms that shouldn't be. And it makes the parents feel a little more comfortable with that as well. We also use buses that are, motor coaches, that are, have met really high safety standards, okay? And we've got Compass Coach, who you've worked with in the past. They're right out of Cedar Springs, so it's all local. So we have the buses arriving Friday morning, November 21st.
Friday morning, Friday night.
Or excuse me, Friday night. Let me put my glasses on. Sorry about that. Friday night, 6 p.m. You'll load and depart at 7. You'll drive overnight, and then you'll arrive in Jersey in the morning, and you'll meet your tour manager, who will be with you throughout the rest of the trip. He will have been or he or she, will have worked with a hotel for that kite rooming block. And they'll also make sure that breakfast is ready for you on arrival, okay? So and you'll have changing rooms. So when some of you are changing, the other ones will be having breakfast and vice versa, okay? We'll just kind of alternate, and it goes really smoothly. And then at 9:30, you'll depart for your tour and go to Carnegie Hall and take a guided tour of Carnegie Hall.
How do you do Carnegie Hall? Practice, man.
Practice, yes. If there's nothing going on the stage, we can sometimes take our choirs up. They can't go on the stage, but they can be in front of the stage and at least maybe sing a number so they get the idea of the acoustics. It's pretty cool. And then they'll walk to Rockefeller Center. They'll have lunch on their own and then do optional ice skating or explore Fifth Avenue and also see St. Patrick's Cathedral, which is right around the corner. And then they're going to be doing a guided tour of Lincoln Center, the Performing Arts Complex, where it houses the Avery Fisher Hall and the Philharmonic Opera, the Metropolitan Opera House. The Juilliard is there as well, but we won't be able to go into the Juilliard. But you'll see where it's at. They're mean, yes.
They won't let us in.
After your tour, we're going to be departing for dinner at Buca de Beppo's, which is right down in Times Square. And then we'll go back to Lincoln Center at Avery Fisher Hall and see a performance of the New York Philharmonic. And of course, this is subject to the 2014 schedule. We don't have that yet because it's not out. So we'll just have to keep watch of that. And then after the performance, I'll go back to the hotel and then I'll actually check into the hotel and have the nighttime security. Next morning is buffet breakfast at the hotel. And then they'll be departing for their clinics or their workshops. The orchestra is going to be doing a clinic with the New York Philharmonic, with a conductor from the New York Philharmonic. It will be an awesome experience. See that smile on his face?
Very exciting.
Yes. And the choir will drop off the band and then take the choir, and they'll be participating in a Broadway classroom workshop.
Drop off the who?
The choir.
Band on my itinerary.
Why is it band on your itinerary?
You sent me.
Where does it say band?
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that.
Half price! Yes!
See why he said it's a preliminary itinerary? Sorry about that, we will change that.
You'll pay for it.
I got another one, but we haven't gotten that yet.
What is the choir gonna do?
The choir is going to do a Broadway
Equal
classroom
orchestra.
workshop.
With a Broadway
Performer.
Very cool.
There's several workshops to choose from. We haven't chosen the exact workshop. There's like theater, movement, and song, Broadway 101. And they'll work with you on choreographing, and then a Broadway performer comes in and works with the group. Very cool.
Very cool.
And then after
That's as
that,
cool as Yorkshire.
we will depart to pick up the orchestra if they're nice.
Just walk.
And then everyone will go to Times Square and arrive at Times Square. They can have some time on their, they can have their lunch on their own. And then at 2:30 p.m. we're going to meet at the theater and see a Broadway matinee show of the Newsies.
Which is very hot right now.
Yes,
It
it's
is hot.
one of the hot #1 shows right now. And then after the show, we'll walk to dinner at Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. And it seems like a lot of walking. In New York, it's short blocks, and it's almost sometimes faster to walk it than it is to load it and take the bus, okay?
And park.
And park, yeah. So that's why, yeah, walking really does save time sometimes. So bring your walking shoes. And then after dinner, we're going to, so we'll walk to dinner at Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. Has anybody been to Bubba Gump's? Okay, so you know they have the license plates on the table, and if you need something, you flip it over and say, "Run, Forrest, run."
I got a golf, they threw a golf ball at me. I caught it.
So it's really a fun place to eat.
It really is.
And then after dinner, we'll depart for the Empire State Building, and you'll get to go up to the top of the Empire State Building,
Totally awesome.
and you'll see it all lit up at night. And of course, with all the Christmas lights and everything that will be in New York at that time, it should be absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, so this is a great time of year.
Yeah.
After the Empire State Building, we'll depart for the hotel, nighttime security. Next morning, we'll do breakfast at the hotel. And then we're going to depart for Liberty Park. Liberty Park is on the Jersey side, so we'll board the ferry on the Jersey side, go to Ellis Island, go over to Liberty Island to see the Statue of Liberty, and then we'll board the ferry and go back to Battery Park. And lunch is on your own at one of the island cafeterias there, okay? And then when we get to Battery Park, we'll, you're not far from the 9/11 Memorial. Again, you're almost better to walk it. So, and because the streets are so narrow, it's easier to just walk up there. It's probably about 4 blocks. And so you'll actually be going up to visit the 9/11 Memorial. We'll have a timed entry to go in and see that. It's a pretty awesome experience. It really is. It's
It
breathtaking.
was being built when we were there, what, 3, 4 years ago?
drove by.
We drove by and waved, I mean,
Yeah.
because you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
gonna be great.
Yes. And then after that, you'll depart for Chinatown. Do a little shopping in Chinatown, make sure you bargain with them. Never pay them right, what they're asking. And you can also visit Little Italy, which is right next to Chinatown. And then we're going to be doing dinner at Jing Fong, which is a Chinese restaurant. They have a great selection of different things that you can try. It's going to be a very unique experience, and the food is great. They don't speak English very well, though, but the tour guide will help you out there. In fact, when they sent us a menu the first time, it was in Chinese. I hope they get pictures. I was like, okay, redo this. Then you're going to go to the hotel, have nighttime security. The next morning, you're going to check out and depart for Manhattan. Make sure you take some poster boards and make some signs, because you're going to be a part of the Today Show. We're going to be standing outside of the Today Show and with all the signs. I can't imagine they would interview you.
This crowd?
Yeah, I know. So after you've stood outside and been a part of the Today Show, and normally we have people do tours of the NBC studios, but the NBC Studios tours are closed right now, will not be open until almost the end of 2014 because they're doing all sorts of renovations. So after you stood outside and gotten cold for a while, we are going to take you to breakfast at Hard Rock Cafe, so you can warm up a little bit. Okay, and they do a great buffet breakfast. Then you're going to depart for the Madison Atrium. And there will be a performance opportunity for the orchestra and for the choir as well. Orchestra, not band.
Thank you.
And the atrium is just an amazing place to perform. It's very, very busy, especially around lunchtime. Downstairs, there's like some food vendors and grocery stores, and everybody in New York, that's kind of where they come to have lunch. And there's, it's Wi-Fi is available, so it's extremely busy. We had a couple of groups perform there last year, and it was packed in there, and it was just a great performance venue. And the acoustics with the atrium up above is beautiful. If you get a chance, go online and look at it. And then after that, we are going to have a boxed lunch delivered, so you can take it on the bus and eat your lunch on the way to St. Paul the Apostle, where there will also be a performance opportunity for the orchestra and the choir. And the orchestra has performed there before, and it was an awesome experience.
It was, oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was so beautiful. The acoustics were amazing. It was great.
And then after your performance, you'll have some time to explore Central Park. And then at 5:30, you'll depart for dinner, and you're going to be doing dinner at Blue Note, which is a famous live jazz restaurant, live music club.
In fact, it's so famous, it even has its own record label. Back in the 50s and 60s, some of you know what I'm talking about. Blue Note Jazz, that's where we're going.
And you'll see an artist perform there, so you'll see the live jazz. It will be amazing.
And there's a rumor that it's going to be someone really well-known and good. So.
Very well done. And then at 9:15 after the show, you'll actually have dinner at 6, and then at 8 o'clock the show starts. So you're welcome to stay. You stay for the show, obviously, and then at 9:15 you'll depart from home.
And sleep like babies the whole way home.
You drive all night and arrive back at 10:45 in the morning. Sound like a great time? Okay. I'm just gonna hit on some highlights.
Let me quickly, while you're doing that, let me quickly throw this out.
Okay.
One of the main reasons we chose this time period was because if you think about our Thanksgiving schedule, we don't have school on that Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So we will only be missing 2 days of school. We'll be leaving Friday after school, the weekend, miss those 2 days of school, which are generally kind of a little loose anyway, just because it's vacation, coming up on vacation, come home that Wednesday, not missing Thanksgiving or anything. But how fun will it be to watch the Thanksgiving Day parade on Thursday, knowing you were just there 2 or 3 days before that? Cool. So there's a little bit of schedule.
And just to see the city lit up for Christmas. I mean, that's just amazing in itself. So, the tour actually includes the round trip transportation aboard first class air conditioned DVD equipped motor coaches, first class accommodations for 3 nights and changing rooms in the Jersey area, the 4 breakfast, the 1 box lunch, and the 4 dinners. So you are gonna have 3 lunches, I believe, that you have to pay for on your own, okay? The Carnegie Hall guided tour with Rockefeller Center, Fifth Avenue, St. Patrick's Cathedral, the Lincoln Center, Performing Arts, the New York Philharmonic, the New York Philharmonic Clinic for the orchestra, and the classroom for the choir, and the Times Square Broadway matinee show, the Empire State Building, the Ferry, Ellis Island, Liberty Island, Statue of Liberty, Monument Pass, the Memorial, Chinatown, Little Italy Today show, private nighttime hotel security, which we already talked about, group travel video package. We will have, before you go, we work with a company called Group Travel Video.
It's a descriptive name.
It is. Well, they used to be Creative Video, and they changed their name to Group Travel Video. Anyway, they will send an app where you can actually download the app on your phone, take pictures throughout your whole trip, and then you can upload them. And then when you get back, they will make a DVD for everybody of the trip.
We did this a few years ago. We've done this, I think, most trips, right? Did you do that in Nashville?
Yeah, it's fun. And then everybody first will get their DVD, and they will get a password so they can go online to our website, click on the camera, access their trip, and you can email those to friends and family or upload them on your Facebook or however you want to do those. Okay. All trip planning and arrangements, there's a $3 million liability insurance, there's a CITA Consumers Protection Plan coverage. We are members of CITA, and so we have to carry a blanket coverage that says if something, God forbid, should happen to your company, and we've been in business for over 30 years, you're protected from monies paid in. Okay. There's also optional travel insurance, which is available and follows the educational tours cancellation policy, and we're going to go over that in just a minute. Service of our company tour manager, and during your entire stay in New York, New Jersey area, all gratuities and surcharges, and fuel surcharges. So if the price of diesel fuel goes up between now and then, and the bus company comes back and says, we have to charge you more, we will not pass that on to our customers. You are locked in. We're guaranteeing that rate. And it's based on prices in effect as of January 16th. And there's also health and accident insurance coverage. If someone were to get, have an accident on the trip, there is coverage to protect you for that. I had a student who fell and broke his leg first day in Florida, and it covered his medical expenses and his flight home. So we include that with all of our trips. And the 1-800 emergency number that's answered 24 hours. So if you need to get a hold of your student and it's an emergency, then you can call that number and they will get a hold of the tour manager. Okay. I know everybody has cell phones now, it's not that much of an issue, but it's always nice to have that backup plan too. Sometimes they don't go through their cell phones. The insurance information. This was something you should have picked up on the way in. Did anybody not get one of these? Can you pass one down over to you guys, please? They're going to pass them out. Okay.